Hello, hello. Thanks for the last minute rearrangements to our viewers. We were going to have our day 3 clean eating challenge training at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, but Dr. Shah and I are bad at time zones, apparently.
Yeah,
So we
really.
decided to do this right now, and then I'll come back and do the clean eating challenge when we're done. So I'm really excited to have a friend and colleague, Dr. Amy Shah, here. She's coming to us from Arizona, and she is a internist and an allergy and immunology specialist. She also does a lot of coaching and education around food, just like we do here at Holist. And she has a book that came out this week, and I'm really honored to have her here to show her off to you and talk a little bit about what her book's about and get some questions answered about why we're so effing tired. So welcome, Dr. Shah.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Heather. Your name is Dr. Heather on the screen. That's why I just called you Dr. Heather. I don't know if you prefer that or what you prefer, but I am super, super excited to be here. I love, it was so great to connect with you when we were on that conference together, because I think I've seen your work. And, we're always in passing when we're going on social media, but it was nice to hear you in a uninterrupted setting. So I got to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, that was the Women Physician Wellness Conference that we were both faculty on. It was really fun. Dr. Howe puts that together. And if any of you watching are female physicians, you should definitely check out those conferences. I'm going to go to the Aruba one next year. I'm really excited.
That's amazing.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to this book.
Yeah, so as you wrote it on there, but it's called I'm So Effing Tired. I don't know, this light is like really weird. Okay, here.
There we go. Perfect.
I'm so effing tired. I wrote it because that's what a lot of us feel during our journey. And then, I think in medical school and residency, I was able to recover pretty quickly from having those crazy on-call months, and we had kind of built-in breaks until I got to practice, and I had 2 little children, and I was trying to run my private practice. And I remember feeling like I could never do enough. Like I wanted to do everything for my practice, and I would do everything for my kids. And I never felt like I was always juggling all these balls, and I felt like they were like breaking all the time, because as soon as I took my attention off one, the other one would start to have issues, right? So I think I was always in my head in my to-do list, and I knew I was tired. I knew I was having a lot of burnout type symptoms. And I knew my mood wasn't the way it should be. I couldn't sleep. I was tired, but I couldn't sleep at night. I had a lot of insomnia because, when your stress hormones are just like so activated, it's really hard to fall asleep. I really skimped on all the things that we think, could help in this situation, because I wore it as a badge of honor. Like I was a working mom and I could do it all. Like I thought that if I took a break, or that if I got, some nature time, went for a walk or whatever it was, that was selfish of me and I should be working all the time. So in any case, I went and got checked out. I had low vitamin D, but really nothing else really came out. Thyroid, vitamin D, B12, all that we checked, and it was basically low vitamin D, but probably because, you're a mom, you have a new practice. And so I went on this journey to try to figure out what was going on with me. Was I just burned out, or was I having some kind of illness that, like, you can't really pick up on modern lab tests? And basically through my journey, I realized so many women feel like that. There's nothing to put your finger on, but you just don't feel well. You feel not as motivated. You have GI symptoms. Maybe your hormones are feeling off. And biggest symptom I see is fatigue. So through all my errors, I found some things. I did some research. I found some things that really did help, and that's what I kind of put together.
Isn't failing? I was just going to interrupt you real quick. Isn't failing such a wonderful way to find answers?
Absolutely. I felt like, trying everything I could think of to heal myself was such a blessing, because I made all the mistakes, and now I can say, hey, here are the things that actually was worth my time. And I've tried this on other people now, and it's worth their time. And so I kind of boiled it out into 3 different categories that people can fix. So because we have a problem of too much information these days, and too much information from like various sources
Totally.
and various interests. So try to really boil it down to like non supplemental, non there's no cost in these 3 things that I basically outline in the book.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm constantly telling people to stop consuming information and just take action on just like one simple thing, right? Because like it's so easy right now to just like learn, watch, listen, learn, watch, listen, learn, watch, listen, and then not do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the big thing is that we have so much information, and yes, I want to be meditating twice a day, and yeah, I want to be doing all these things, but it's physically and mentally impossible for me to fit it all in. So I tried to kind of pare it down to a few things, a few minutes a day.
That's great. So fixing our chronobiology, is that what you call it?
Yeah, the
Fixing our
chronobiology. Yeah.
Perfect. Fixing our microbiology and fixing our psychobiology. Those are your 3 things, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so my chronobiology, as you know, is circadian rhythms. Our bodies work on a 24-hour light and dark cycle. 80% of up to 80% of our genes are modulated in a circadian pattern, and our gut bacteria are also have circadian rhythms. Basically, every cell in nature has a circadian rhythm. So, what I'm telling you is like, wow, the 2017 Nobel Prize in Medicine went for circadian rhythms, and then the I think the one before that was for intermittent fasting, autophagy. So these are new concepts, really, really cool things. So basically what I ask people is, hey, instead of never going outside during the day and getting 0 sunlight and then getting a ton of bright blue light at night, that's very against your natural circadian rhythms. And this is going to keep you jet lagged, tired, and fast track you to burnout. Same thing with eating late at night. There's very good evidence that just like our brain needs sleep, our gut bacteria and metabolism is prepped for repair and renewal, and the insulin production actually is turned down. And so, of course, having a huge metabolic load late at night is going to be very, very bad for your metabolism and for your energy.
Yeah, everybody needs a break.
Yeah, everybody needs it. All your cells need a break. It's like having waking you up in the middle of the night. Well, you wake up in the middle of the night. It's like when you wake up in the middle of the night, Heather, and you have to take a call or see a patient, you feel like you can't be at your best. You can't think the best. And then you feel tired the next day. So the same thing is with eating late at night. So minding your circadian rhythms is number 1. And then number 2 is, really fixing your microbiology, which I know you talk a lot about, gut health. Really, what are the main drivers for gut health? Forget all the superfoods and supplements, but what are the things that actually, like, if you had no time and you just had to like pare it down. So I go into basically eating more plant fiber, because plant fiber, a lot of it is prebiotic and it feeds the good gut bacteria. It also fixes your gut health, which is immune health, hormone health, and gut health are all linked together. So fixing your microbiology, and then there's fixing your psychobiology, which is that mind-body connection, that vagal nerve that connects your brain to your body. Now we know that there's like at least 5 ways the brain is connected to your gut, but really trying to just spend a minute or 2 twice a day trying to work on that. And that's kind of, I noticed that the minimum dose is basically just a minute twice a day.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So that's where you start. I mean,
That's
it's like,
doable.
when we can't do, most of us, well, not most of us, but many of us cannot fit in, 2 meditation sessions, morning and evening, full length. And I think just stepping outside, for a minute, multitasking, because we love to multitask. Step outside, get some sunlight. While you're getting your circadian rhythms, you maybe do a little bit of breath work, or you hum, because humming its sensation is very stimulating to your vagus nerve, or you just pray, or whatever it is that you do to check out of your to-do list, do that. And then that kind of multitasks so many things. And then you go back in and you're ready to kind of go. It's like an energy boost, way better than any cappuccino.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yeah, and I love all the talk about the gut. I mean, the people who follow us with Holist and Curate Your Health know that we're really serious about talking about plants and talking about how getting more plants and a colored variety of plants into your diet can really help heal your gut and feed the bacteria all that good energy that they need, all the nutrients they need, and how that's connected to our skin and our sleep and our mood and everything. And so thank you for bringing that up again from
Yeah,
another
I think
perspective.
those are kind of very easy steps that anyone who's really busy can incorporate. So what I did in the book actually is I at the back half of the book, because I know, Heather, you get asked this all the time too. I did a done for you plan with tested recipes from a very professional nutritionist who tested and checked everything with the right measurements, because my recipes for my files that I was using for me and my patients were like, add a pinch of this and like mix together these three things. And this person really came in and said, hey, I'm going to try all these, fix it for you. And so they're really, really great, simple things that you can do, because people say, well, okay, fine. You're saying all these things, fix your gut health, fix your mind health, but like, what does that actually mean in actual steps? And so that's why I put together a plan that could work for many people, basically saying, hey, 12 hours, take a fast overnight. Maybe you want to push it 3 days a week to 13, 14, 15 hours, depending on your schedule, and do something really simple for meals. And this is how you'll do it.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. What I'm hearing is that you're storytelling your education and then providing a blueprint. So I think that that's a really great way for people to internalize, because if you're just giving them the done for you, then what happens when you're not there, right?
Yeah,
They can't do it on their own.
You have to, at some point, be able to navigate. So I keep saying that in my book, because I kept having so much resistance towards telling people what to eat or like recipes. But I know people need guides. They're tired, they're burnt out, they want to know what your ideas are. So I kept saying that this is not a diet, it's not a 30-day plan, it's not a 2-week plan. It's to give you a framework that you can continue for the rest of your life. You can navigate yourself. And I say 90% plants, 10% do what you want, because I think that I grew up vegetarian as Indian born, and I knew how hard it was for me when somebody said, stop eating dairy, which was the only animal product that I was actually consuming. It was like nearly impossible, because I kept thinking, oh, I want to have that special treat that I used to have when I was a kid. And so I just understand, I empathize with people and where they're coming from. And I know that as long as you're not overdoing it and going crazy with the animal products, a little bit here and there is fine.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, we were just talking about this on our clean eating challenge, but the lifestyle medicine data really shows that the long-term health benefits of being plant-based kind of turns at 2 animal meat products per week.
Yeah.
So I like to give people some freedom around that too, is just realize that like what we're trying to do is figuring out, how do you move your body? How do you fuel your body? How do you control your thoughts and your inner state in a way that makes sense for your life and that is sustainable for you, so that you're not just in restriction mode, right?
I love the idea of 2 animal products per week. That gives it a little more. Is that a study, or is that just their recommendation?
Yeah, there's a bunch of studies done actually in the Adventist community.
Yeah. I thought they were fully plant-based. No.
They were comparing them to a control group in a couple of the studies, and it looks like, especially for diabetes risk in animal products, it's about two a week. So
then that's when it switches over from the control group. That's where the change was. Got it. Yeah. Because the Adventist group is such a famous study, but I didn't realize that they compared how many, when
Yeah.
it was that they flipped around. So that's interesting. That's good to tell patients.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about the sleep. I'm a nocturnist emergency medicine doc, and so my circadian rhythm is who knows,
Yeah.
but I find it so important to heal people's sleep patterns when they're trying to get healthy and trying to lose weight in particular. And it's such a hormonal dysregulation problem with your growth hormone and your leptin and your insulin and your cortisol and everything else. And some of the tips that you mentioned just briefly, I just want to say again, because I think it's so important for people to take this into account, is figuring out how to get outside in the afternoon. Really makes a big difference in terms of triggering your circadian rhythm, and also exercising outside in the afternoon also is really linked to that. And then, of course, I just want to echo again, not eating at night, especially even healthy, unprocessed carbohydrates have been linked to keeping you awake. So I just want to say that out loud too. Sleep is important.
I've talked to a bunch of nurses about this, and they said the nurse culture is it's really difficult not to eat if you're on night shift, because the culture is of eating. So I get it. It's really, really difficult, but if you can try to concentrate as much as your food as you can during the daylight hours, the better chance you have to stave off disease.
Yeah, that's great. Well, the nurses should stop bringing all of the food.
I know. The best food I've ever had is when I was in residency and I worked night shifts. That was literally the best food I've ever had, because they would bring in, it was like Christmas time, and there was so many treats. I learned so much from the treats that they brought. I mean, it was like a whole thing.
I just made a rule that I don't think anyone brings to work, and I don't have to think about it.
I missed that. Say that again.
I said I made a rule that I don't eat anything anyone brings to work, just as a general rule. So then I don't have to think about it every single time about whether I'm going to eat it or not.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I did. I mean, except for this year where there wasn't any real treats in the office. Every Christmas, for the first 5 years of practice, I would always just eat all these treats in the afternoon because I was hungry and I was tired. And then I just did what you said. It's like just made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to have anything in the office. And that made it much easier.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Well, so do you have any parting wisdom for us, for our health listeners?
I think what I would say is that if you live in the status quo, live like the status quo people, which is, all of America, you are on a fast track to fatigue and burnout. So make sure that you're not following the masses through your food and your habits and your thought practices. The things that we're talking about are maybe going to be weird to others, but, taking time to go outside, or taking your phone call outside, or eating your lunch outside, or taking some time to eat a plant-based meal, or, eating an early dinner. All of these are very contrary to popular culture, but I'm telling you that the results will speak for themselves in terms of energy and then long-term health.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Can you tell our Curate Your Health listeners where they can find you on social media, and most importantly, where they can get your book, I'm So Effing Tired?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm So Effing Tired is on imsoeffingtired.com. It's on sale right now on Amazon and Target because it's like a new release, and I guess they just automatically put things on sale sometimes if they're somewhat popular. So check that out. And then you can find me. I'm at Fasting MD on Instagram. I'm at Amy Shah MD on Facebook and Twitter.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thanks, Heather.
Well, yeah. So, and I always like to end these with my mantra, which is, who you choose to be matters. You are valuable, you are worth this, and you are your whole you. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Shah.
Thank you. This is fun. Thank you.